My idea of an extraordinary life.
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 My idea of an extraordinary life is.
My idea of an extraordinary.
My idea for an extraordinary life.
My idea of 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 an extraordinary life is one that positively affects all lives.
My idea of an extraordinary life.
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 Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Hogan, and I'm here with Laurie Starkey. And listen to me. I am so excited about the project we're about to embark on. Laurie, tell them what we're going to do.
We are going to be doing something called the Extraordinary Life Project. Yes. We are super excited too. I have been thinking about this for about 2 years. God downloaded this into my soul about 2 years ago when I finally got quiet enough to listen to him. And he was talking about the fact that everybody deserves an extraordinary life. That everybody has the opportunity to move towards a better life that they're in. And so to just kind of get quiet and think about the path that my life's been on and how extraordinary it is now, but how unextraordinary it was then.
Oh,
right?
So you've been through some stuff.
I've been through some stuff.
Sister, you ain't the only one.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's amazing because as you go through that, one of the things we have to remember is that the Lord is present.
Yeah.
He ain't never left us.
Nope.
And so we get an opportunity to make some decisions about how we're going to move forward.
Absolutely. And then once you've moved forward, you have the capacity emotionally to help other people move forward.
Oh.
And that's where we're at right now. This Extraordinary Life Project is about helping other people to just clear some of the clouds away and start to make some really good decisions to move forward in their own lives.
That's amazing because I'm going to tell you something. As you're in the middle of a storm, and we all are somewhere, we've all either walked through one or you're in the middle of one, or guess what? Unfortunately, one's probably on its way.
That's right.
The thing is you got to have a plan. You've got to understand what it is you're dealing with and why it matters so much to you. And so I'm excited for this too. I'm excited for us to be able to guide some people and for us to be able to share our stories. You've gone through some unbelievable things, and I have as well. But the reality is we're not done yet. We all have an opportunity to keep making decisions to be able to grow forward. And this project is about that. It's about growth.
That's right. And it's about everyone too.
Yes, this is an inclusion. So, Laurie, you have said this and you've actually beat this up. You've told me, Hogan, this is about community.
That's right.
And so as we talk about this and we tell people this is for you, what we mean is we want you to join us. We want you to join us in this mission, join us in this process, because, Laurie, when you try to do life alone, it doesn't go right.
That's right. Absolutely. And you know how it is when you have something great happen in your life or something bad happen in your life. What's the first thing that you do? You go find somebody to share it with. That's right.
That's right.
And I think right now the world needs more than anything community. The idea of wrapping around each other and in a positive and uplifting way. We all have so much negative content coming in from all angles right now that you would think the world is a negative place and all good things have come to stop, to cease. That's not the truth at all. And so the Extraordinary Life Project is to kind of, like I said, make some space for you to really start thinking about the good, the great, the giving back, the blessings, and how can we kind of move through that together as a community that cheers on one another, gives experience shares for things that we've been through and made it through.
Right.
Because it's always nice to know what's the success story from this dark night of the soul.
Whoa.
It's nice to see maybe if she did it, I can do it too.
I can too. And the beauty of this project is that we're going to have Laurie kind of given the female perspective, and you're going to have me giving the male perspective. And guys, let's be honest, we don't do a good job communicating sometimes. And oftentimes what will happen is we will shut down and close off. And I'm here to encourage you, to tell you, having done that as a professional, that's not the way to go. What we have to do is actually open up. We've got to get people in our corner. We've got to be able to talk about our story. And so I'm excited about this project because what we're going to do, it's about people. And I don't care where you go to church. I don't care your color. I don't care how much you make. This is about people and people's hearts, Laurie, and that's important.
Yep, absolutely. Or if you even go to church.
Yes.
This is just about us coming together and loving on each other. And it is very structured. So this is just the intro into the extraordinary life to kind of give you some excitement and some look at what's coming. But it's a very structured program that we're going to help people walk through. And we're super excited to get into that as we continue to develop this
you
together.
are very structured. And I'm going to bring the fun. She's kind of the structure. I'm the fun. But listen, we're going to dive into this, and I'm going to be honest with you. I've known Laurie for a few years now, and this has been something that you've been passionate about. This has been something you've drilled into, and as we've kind of talked and mentored with each other, what we realize is that there's a need for this.
Absolutely. And the cool part is that it's not something that I took time and decided to do. It was something that I made space for quiet, and God just downloaded the entire thing into my soul.
What's this making space mean?
Yeah, right. It's like shoving everything aside.
Shoving it away.
We call it making margin.
Yeah?
Yeah, making margin, making some space so I can actually hear what God's up to and what he wants in my life. And so that's where the Extraordinary Life Project came from. It just got downloaded over a 3-day silence retreat I went to. And the funny thing is I don't know if you recall this, quick funny story is that we had coffee for the first time as friends the morning I left for that retreat.
Yes, I do remember that.
So just funny coincidences that God's continued to play out over the last 2 years. But
well, I'm going to tell you something. There are no accidents. And regardless of where you are right now, you joining us on this mission, and I can't say that enough, it's so important for you to join us because I'm excited about learning from you. I'm excited about learning the things that you've walked through and the things that you've seen. And we're excited about sharing the things that we've walked through and what we've seen, the good, the bad, as well as the ugly.
Absolutely.
And I think, Laurie, we all have an opportunity to learn from those things if we're willing.
Yep. And the cool thing about the Extraordinary Life Project is even though it's structured, it's not set in place. So as the community gives feedback and as you talk to us about what you're going through and what you have going on, that structure will start to develop and grow even more. So we have the bones and the framework that God downloaded into us, but what's going to be awesome is to get all of the color and the decorations and the real march of where we're headed as a community. The ultimate goal for the Extraordinary Life is to open your eyes and to get you to realize that you are worthy of an extraordinary life. The people around you are waiting for you to have an extraordinary life so that the blessings that you receive, you can then give to them. There's a lot of really cool things coming your way when you stop thinking that having something great for yourself is selfish. That's not true. It's the devil's greatest weapon against us.
It is.
It's selfish to do something for myself, whereas when you do fill your tank, now you can give it to someone else.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. You can't give anything you don't have. And so being able to take that time to be able to have that space, to be able to get clear and to understand that you are the architect of your dream. You are the one that keeps writing your story. And for some reason, we put down the pen. For some reason, we stop writing and we think this is it. And that's just not true. So what we have to do is get unstuck, get refocused, and start to get encouraged. And that encouragement piece is what I'm excited about with the Extraordinary Life Project. We are going to encourage you because we're going to equip you with information you need. And this is so important. Now, I can't emphasize enough to all of you out there that this is about community. We are going to be the guides with this, but we're going through these things together. And so our goal is to pull resources and tools to be able to allow you all to all join us in this collective effort. Because I feel like as we walk through things and if people will be vulnerable, will be vulnerable, what we can do is share some serious lessons.
That's right. And as we've talked about before, we even prayed before this, vulnerability takes courage. So what we're committed to doing is creating a safe space for you to be courageous. We're going to be looking at how to create a community that can have that space for people to really open up, because if you can't get real, then we can't get ahead. You can't get ahead. We can't keep moving.
Laurie, you hear this word community a lot. It's almost become a buzzword, right? But when we talk about that, and you and I have hit this around a lot, when we talk about community, what are we saying? What do we mean?
Well, and let me start with what we don't mean. We don't mean just a Facebook group that somebody jumps in and puts a blog in every once in a while, and it dies off over time.
That's right.
We're talking about really working hard to figure out. I mean, we don't have all this figured out yet, which is the great part.
That's right.
To figure out over time, how do we create a safe space for people to get in and lock arms? So if you're going through something specific, other people that have been through that thing can then lock arms with you and give you some hope and encouragement and some experience shares. But we're going to be almost the matchmakers in the background to help people kind of find the right people. Because you know how it is in a community. Let's say I was to go to a weight loss community and I start talking about being alcoholic. Most people might not be an alcoholic in there, so they don't understand where I am. They don't understand who I am. And I feel that pushback even in the middle of my vulnerability, and I'll shut down. My courage leaves. But if I go into the right room with the right people that are there that are going through that same thing, I've found my tribe. I found my people. I'm more than willing to share because they totally understand it. I'll open up much quicker. So.
And you know what I've found is it's not necessarily, it's people being able to identify, right? Nobody can actually be in your shoes,
right? Absolutely.
But my goodness, if you've gone through a divorce, if you've had a sick child, or if you're dealing with aging parent, whatever that is, if somebody else has dealt with that topic, like you said, now they can identify, right? And now what you have is a commonality, which then paves the way for that communication. And so I see this as an opportunity to build a community where we start to pull together resources and information so when other people get to that situation, that they can kind of have a playbook and know what to do.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, it's not just about what you've been through. It's also about creating a really cool vision for your future. I mean, this is a lot of what's going to happen is we're stuck and we're held back by some of the storms that we're in, and we're going to address that. But really, the extraordinary life is to kind of, like I said, push those clouds away, because the idea is to come up with a vision that excites you and those around you for your future, because generosity and abundance and all those really cool things that feel good you're capable of outflowing those when you have them. And so it's clearing the path. It's helping you come up with what you want to move towards in your extraordinary life. And then the cool part is because this is evergreen, there are going to come points in your life where you have a stop and you're like, okay, it's been 2 years. I've made the extraordinary. I'm at my extraordinary life. Where do I go next?
Yeah.
It's a reassessment.
It is. And I love the fact that now it'll be that you start happening to your life instead of life happening to you.
That's right.
It's about us putting our hands on the steering wheel, and it's building something. I'm older than Lori, but before, but I'm older. Okay, hush, I'm talking. But before there were Legos, there was a thing called Lincoln Logs.
I know what Lincoln
you don't know anything about those. But anyway, listen. You remember the Lincoln Logs? You had to build your fort. You had the pieces, and you got a chance to design the foundation and how it. And I'll never forget the opportunity I never built anything the same twice, but I had the pieces. And unfortunately in life, what can happen is we can forget we've got those pieces. We've got the pieces and we've got the sources that can help us. What we want to do is to really be able to help you start to get more clear and understand what you're doing and why it matters.
Absolutely. I love that. And just a very short little bit about us. We're going to do a pretty cool after the take segment for who we are.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on who we are. We're just the conduits by which this program is going to happen and come to fruition. But we do need to talk a little bit about who we are. So, Chris, who are you?
Well,
why is your voice so familiar?
I don't know. Listen, I have dealt in the financial and leadership space for over the last 15 years. I've done a lot of media, a lot of TV, talking about money, about building wealth, about building leaders. I've traveled this country speaking at events and with groups. The reality is that I'm a coach. I love people and I love helping people. And so this gives me an opportunity to broaden the scope, to be able to talk about all of these life things that you can walk through. I've had an extraordinary life. I've had that opportunity to do some unbelievable things, but I'm not done. And so really being able to move forward, I'm a coach ready to help people.
I love that.
All right, Lori, who are you?
I am, I'm a food stamp baby. I come from absolute poverty due to my first marriage, and kind of had to hit my knees and find God again in my 20s. And then reverse engineered becoming a CPA. Had to feed my 2 little girls. I had 2 little girls at the time. Put myself through school and became a CPA, but I never felt like I fit in. So I was always trying to figure out where am I going next. So the extraordinary life has been my entire life. People are tired of talking about it, I think, at this point, now that I'm in my 40s. But anyways, a CPA for quite a few years, and then God asked me if I wanted to go on a new journey, a new extraordinary path, and it was to write fiction novels, which was not something I'd ever done before. So to step out and write fiction novels, I wrote 130 books over 2.5 to 3 years.
Excuse me?
130 books. You know, every time I tell somebody that, they misrepresent it to the next person. Lori's written 30 books. I'm like, you left off the 100.
That's impressive.
It was all God. It was just a gift that I had tucked inside of me. I didn't know that I had inside of me. So wrote all those books, built a couple of publishing companies, and now we have 10 companies. Some publishing, some bookkeeping, and now this is the big project I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So I've seen a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of dark days of the soul, which I know you have too. And I feel like God has equipped us to be the conduits, to be the ones that get to bring this great present to the world.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, I can tell you, having traveled the country and seen and met hundreds of thousands of people, I know this project is going to be something that's going to connect, regardless of if you are the CEO of a company or an employee. And it doesn't matter, because this is about people.
That's right.
And unfortunately, we can get caught up in thinking our worth comes from our status, and that's just not true. And so I'm excited to equip people, us working together, to give you tools, the information you need from right where you are. I want you to hear me. You've got an opportunity to engage in this project right where you are, utilizing those tools and growing. And that growth process is something that we're going to be doing together.
That's right. You'll get to see us do it as well. We're still working on our extraordinary life.
Yes.
One of the cool things, too, to think about is that you already have everything you need inside of you. Like we're not going to give you anything new. We're just going to pull up old things that you've heard or that you've seen and that you need to be reminded about. And I think the encouragement and the cheerleading is going to be super helpful, too, at this stage of where everybody is right now. I think that's going to be super beneficial to all of us, including us, is to bring that to you. But you have everything inside of you already that you need.
And we are, like you said, we're going to dig and we're going to polish some of it off and we're going to shine some of it. We're going to help it get sharper, kind of right where you are. And that's so important. Now, this is a journey that you have to choose to want to take. And I've heard a lot of people say, I know that there's better available. I know better is out there. Well, first and foremost, better is inside of us. And so what we have to do is get committed, get serious about this thing to start to take this journey. And we're excited for it. And I want to invite you to join us in this project as we move forward. First and foremost, I want to know, what do you think? Based off what we've told you, I'd love to see you leave a comment below. Tell me, as you hear this Extraordinary Life Project, are you excited about? What are you excited about? What do you hope that we cover? This is about community. Now, we've said that word about 72 times now. I want you to hear us. It's about community because it's about you. It's not about us. It's about us together. And we want to connect with you. We want to hear from you. And so please leave your comment below so we can know what you want more of.
Well, and think about this too, as you're leaving your comments and as you're starting to just open the book of what could my extraordinary life look like. This is all awesome and this is the intro, but next week we're really going to unpack the practical steps of how do you start developing a vision for your extraordinary life. So we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to tell a lot of stories, and Chris and I are going to be vulnerable and share some of our hard times and our good times, but know that there are practical steps that we'll be working on next week that you can actually take with you. So now what I would do is start developing in your calendar and making the commitment to yourself, but some time in your calendar, maybe an hour or so a week, that you can start working on this project with us, because we're going to just go through the steps and talk through the hurdles and all of those things. Each week we're going to move you further along in this plan together. So make that time on your calendar, make that commitment to yourself, and next week we're going to really jump in, dive in, and get practical.
Yes, and remember, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. So it's going to be really important, like Laurie said, to make the time, to be intentional. Now listen to me. Don't tell me you don't have time. Okay, look at me. Look at people. All right, don't tell me. Because what you can do is, that might look like taking a lunch break, and instead of going to lunch with friends or whatever, maybe you go eat for 30 minutes and just sit in your car and think. Oftentimes having that alone time is really important. As you look at different areas of your life and say, man, I wish this were better, or I want this. Or guess what? We're going to strive and help you with setting goals on what you can do. So we're going to go from wishing to working. Can you hear that? Go on and tweet it if you want to. We're going from wishing to working because we're going to move you in a direction to help you reach your extraordinary life.
So join us on this journey. It's all about you, it's for you, and we're excited to do it with you.
All right, this is Chris and Laurie signing off. Can't wait until next time.
See you later.